First story this hour takes us to Lebanon, where tensions are running high in the southern Lebanese city of Sidon. Clashes have broken out between members of a Salafist group and security forces. Now, the clashes erupted after gunmen loyal to Salafist Sheikh Ahmed al-Assad attacked a military post in Sidon. Lebanon says 4 of its security forces have been killed and several others injured in the clashes. Lebanon has deployed army forces to Sidon to maintain security in the region. Although Lebanon has officially adopted a position of neutrality over the Syrian conflict, Salafists who help Takfiri extremists in Syria continue to attack people across the border. We're going to switch over to Sidon and join PressTV's correspondent Altaf Tala Ahmad. Altaf, tell us the latest on what you have in this story.
Well, so far, the Lebanese Army has declared that 4 of its soldiers have been killed by the gunfire of the firebrand Salafist cleric Ahmed al-Assad in the Lebanese southern portal city of Sidon, including 1 Lebanese Army lieutenant. 7 other people have been declared injured as well. RPG rockets, B-7s, and M16 gunshots are being heard loud and clear in Sidon. We have spoken to some of the residents in the city. They have described the clashes as the most violent and most fierce so far with the Salafist cleric. Now, as we know, the clashes began when the Lebanese army had allegedly stopped 2 of the supporters of the Salafist cleric who were affiliated with his group. They arrested those 2 individuals. Accordingly, al-Assad headed with an armed group to the armed group and opened fire at the army soldiers. Now, this move comes just after al-Assad had been firing at apartments he described as Hezbollah bureaus, monitoring his every move in the vicinity of his mosque in an eastern suburb in the city of Sidon. Though when PressTV, when we went down to the city and we spoke to the dignitaries and lawmakers in the city, they asserted that the apartments he spoke of were merely residential apartments inhabited by Shia residents who have been in the region for decades. Now, this comes also as one of the sheikhs in the city, Imam Maher Hamoud. He told PressTV that Assad had a week before this entire issue had vowed retaliation for the victory achieved in Qusayr by the Syrian National Army and backed by the Lebanese resistance movement Hezbollah. Now, previously, al-Assad had stirred up several issues, including amassing militants for a so-called jihad in Syria, and he has also done several attacks against Shia Muslims in the city, including the removal by force of mourning banners.
The situation in general in Sidon, I mean, in general, is the situation very tense in the city today?
Yes.
Okay, throughout the city.
Yes, it is. Mass gunmen here and mass supporters of Assad have been shooting randomly in the city and are heavily deployed in the city. They have cut off several roads that connect the southern city of Sidon to the Lebanese capital, Beirut, for example, and they have allegedly issued out calls on their Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts, amassing their supporters from Lebanon as a whole, asking of them to come to Sidon for aid and for support.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be checking back with you throughout other news bulletins. PressTV's correspondent Altaf Ahmad in a very tense Sidon today in Lebanon. The Lebanese Army regains full control of an area surrounding a Salafist mosque in the southern city of Sidon. Now, the army regained control of the area following clashes with gunmen loyal to Salafist Sheikh Ahmed al-Assad. The clashes erupted after gunmen attacked a military post in the city. Lebanon says 4 of its security forces have been killed and several others injured. A sheikh in the city, Imam Maher Hamoud, said Assad had vowed retaliation following the Syrian army's victory in Qusayr, backed by Lebanon's resistance movement Hezbollah. Although Lebanon has officially adopted a position of neutrality over the Syrian conflict, Salafists who help Takfiri extremists in Syria continue to attack the people across the border.